The most important thing is that you have a vision, that you have a goal. Because without that vision and without that goal, again, you're drifting around and you're never gonna end up anywhere. People don't become successful just by accident.
You're gonna get your ass kicked, we're gonna get the shit kicked out of us. You gotta get up, you gotta have faith that the one thing you wanted to happen oftentimes is the best thing that never happened. So have faith, just keep that in mind, keep plugging away.
Never accept the limitations of someone else. Somebody told you that it's impossible. Don't even try. Give up before you even fucking try it for yourself. Never accept the goddamn limitation that someone else has placed upon you.
And now, FitnessInformant.com presents the Iron Union Podcast. Let's go.
Welcome inside the Iron Union Podcast. I am your host, Fitness Informant, founder, CEO, Ryan Buckeye. Excited about this week's podcast. It's a crossover podcast. We dive into the world of entertainment, reality TV, Hollywood. Jax Taylor, who if you've never seen the show Vanderpump Rules before, it's a reality show. I think he was on the show for like 10 years, something like that. Now, if you want me to just kind of set the table for Vanderpump, it's the new age Jersey Shore-ish, I guess you could say. It's white trashy reality TV. Goes behind the scenes, of the lives of several people who are transplants into Hollywood, moved out to Hollywood, worked at a restaurant called Sir for Lisa Vanderpump, and there's just drama galore, right? Jax is the one on the show. He's the bodybuilder. He's the guy that lifts, so hence why he's on the show. He also just recently got into a partnership with Muscle Tech, so we were able to kind of work our connections to get on the show. But Jax was the one. He was the villain. He was the bad guy on the show. He was the reason I even watched the show. It was fun to watch him do his thing. So having him on this podcast was something I really wanted to do, not because I'm a fanboy. That's not at all. I mean, Jax is just a cool, straight-up dude from Michigan who is just a simple dude like me. But I wanted to kind of talk about this idea of self-image in Hollywood, right? Because we all live in this Instagram world, and he is constantly in the public eye. TMZ, Instagram, people with cell phones, camera phones, whatever it might be. So you have to look a certain part. Not only that, his wife, Brittany Cartwright, is currently 34 weeks pregnant with their little baby boy who could come any day now. So there's a lot of self-image issues there because she's got 1.5 million followers on Instagram. He's got 1 million. You can imagine the plethora of negativity from douchebags sitting behind their computers and camera phones that are just saying inappropriate things. So it was cool to talk to Jax because A, I'm a fan, but B, to talk about that life. We never really fully grasp or understand life. Everyone just thinks, oh God, these guys are swimming in dollar bills and cash money. And sure, that might be true, but there is a price to pay for fame. Your privacy is taken away. You have to look a certain way. You have this self-image. Your mental health takes a massive hit, and we talk about all of that here on this podcast. So it was great to have Jax on. I'm excited for him and Brittany. I'm excited for them to start a family. I think it's very, very cool. I don't want to take up a bunch of your time. I want to bring Jax on because I think it's an exciting podcast. It's our first time having, I guess you would say, an entertainment celebrity on the show who's not necessarily a bodybuilder or an athlete, but he's a hockey fan. He's a sports fan. He likes to lift weights for fun. He works with Muscle Tech now, so we talk about Muscle Tech a little bit on this episode. But we really just shoot the shit. Two dudes shooting the shit about family, and I think that was the thing that I thoroughly enjoyed most, just talking about our families, because I just have, 2 weeks ago we had baby Charlotte, and in 2 to 5 weeks he's going to have baby Jax. So here it is, Jax Taylor. Follow him on Instagram at Mr. Jax Taylor. You can follow us on Instagram at Fitness Informant, FitnessInformant.com. Let's go.
Give me a second, I'm trying to select the appropriate weapon. Watch where you stepping, them snakes all around, you know they connected. So count your days, hold up, let me count the ways you gon' pay. When I spot you, I'm coming straight through to your face, no foreplay. Coming alive. Heat of the night. Now is the time. Don't try to hide.
No, it's good. Like prior to like working with Iovate, Mustech and stuff, did you? I'm sure, dude. Like with your background being in modeling and then being in Hollywood, supplements, working out. That's
Yeah.
I mean, you had
Yeah,
to.
I went through it all with supplements, man. I tried it all. I've taken them completely wrong. I've screwed up my testosterone levels
Oh,
many,
yeah.
many times just because, when we're young guys, what do? We go to the gym, we take creatine, we take a bunch of supplements that people tell us to take without researching it. Take a bunch just to get big. Because why? Because we want to look good for girls. That's why we do it. Let's be honest. Nobody's paying me in those days. Nobody was paying me to take anything, be a bodybuilder. And now I look, I'm like, why did I spend so much money and time doing all that, for nothing? And I didn't do it the right way,
Yeah. Well, stuff
But,
too.
yeah.
Like, I saw a story back in I don't know if it was back in like 2008, 2009. Like I would take what they call like pro hormones and stuff because it's like, hey, you're guaranteed to get big, and that fucked up my testosterone. And I think a lot of people would go into supplement shops, take what was recommended to them, and it really messed some people up.
Yeah, I got, I live in LA. I got a melting pot full of
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff, and you hear people out, you listen to people, and at the end of the day, everybody's body's different. This company can swear up and down that it does everything for you, but if it doesn't work for your body, it doesn't work for your body. It's all there is to it, So I dabbled in a lot of different things, all kinds of things. But I wasn't taking it correctly. So it screwed up my hormone levels. I ended up getting gynecomastia, which I had to have 2 surgeries on that.
It's a bitch.
And it was painful. It was painful. And it was like, what am I doing? Like, it wasn't worth it. I'm dumping all this money into supplements. I'm not researching it. And I was just doing it for the wrong reasons. And yeah, basically this is all too, I was very young when I was doing all this too. And I was very just stupid.
I don't think it comes I come from the wrestling world, pro wrestling world. So everything is, that's what you did, right? You gotta get bigger as quickly as possible. I gotta imagine Hollywood's probably very similar, especially the male role and stuff and what you're trying to do. So let's go back to high school, Jax.
Yeah.
Like Michigan.
Okay.
So you're a Midwest boy, which I like. What'd you do for sports?
I grew up playing hockey. I was a hockey guy from the moment I could walk. I dabbled in other sports. I played a little soccer, a little track. But hockey is such a sport that I can play all year round. And I was in travel hockey, so it ate up a lot of my time. I didn't get to enjoy a lot of my school functions because I was always traveling. I was good. And so I was on a better team. I was on a traveling team. So I was gone on the weekends. My dad and I, my mom would stay home with my sister and take her to her things. My dad and I would be in hotels, traveling all over Canada, New York, Pennsylvania, and just going to hockey tournaments. And I did that all the way up till I was 20. No, I'm sorry, till I was 19.
I don't think people understand that hockey's like a religion. Minnesota, because I live in Minneapolis now. I mean,
okay, yeah,
right. Like,
another guy on the show that I'm on, Tom Schwartz. He's from there. He's from something Pines.
Circle Pines. Is he from Circle Pines? Something like that.
I can't remember the damn. I can't. It'll come.
Small town. I mean, it's but I mean, like hockey.
But it's a hockey state. And I got another buddy. Yeah, a couple buddies from Minnesota. I played up in Duluth actually when I was. It's cold. We were skating on lakes in Duluth in October.
Yeah,
that's how in October. I couldn't believe it.
Don't you miss it?
I couldn't believe it. What's that?
Don't you miss it?
Oh my God, I miss it every day. I miss the Midwest every day. And, I'll tell you about that longer, but, I've been out here since 2005. I moved here I was coming from Miami and New York. I was moving from different places, but I've been out here since 2005. I'm now 40 years old. I miss the Midwest. I want to get back so bad now that I'm having a kid and everything. And now that Zoom has kind of brought us closer together, I don't really need to live in LA to do what I need to do anymore for a living. I can audition, I can talk to my businesses online. So I don't really need to live in California anymore. The days of having to live in that state where, like, if you want to do what you want to do, you got to live close by. You don't have to do that anymore. So, the plan is to move back to the Midwest. I've kind of just fed up with California. There's just so many things here that I'm just fed up with.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're having a baby and I want to be closer to family. I miss Florida. The goal is to move back, maybe build a home in Kentucky somewhere on some land and then get a beach house in Florida. That's the goal. We'll see though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because Brittany's from Kentucky, you're from Michigan.
She
so
is.
You guys kind of have that small town route, or like at least.
Well, we can split the difference. We're all on I-75. So Michigan here, then we got Kentucky, then we got Florida. So we're all on the same highway. So we can all see each other. And like I said, at my age and having a kid now, I want to be closer to family. I'm close with my sister and my brother-in-law. Obviously, Brittany's very close with her family. I'm very close with her family. And like this, I'm at the point of my life where family is more important now. I had my fun. I know you're a new father as well. Yeah. It's not about us anymore. It's not about me anymore. And I just want my kid to have the best childhood he could possibly have. I grew up with the best childhood you could have. I mean, it was a different times before social media, but we rode around our streets on our bikes and camp out, bonfires and stuff. And I just don't see my kid doing that there. I'm petrified for my kid to go outside here because it's dangerous here. It's not a safe place. So, I talked it over with my wife and she's kind of in her nesting process. We're going to have our child and she needs to nest a little bit. Sure. But the goal is to get out of California at some point within the next 2 years. I'm not sure when or how or whatever, but yeah, I'm spent here. Everyone's like, well, are you going to miss the weather? Not really. No, I've lived here for 15 years and if we'll get a beach house in Florida. So when it gets cold, we'll go down to Florida. But there's more to life than just weather, because everybody always brings that back to like, oh, you're going to miss the weather. Yeah. Weather's weather. You always want what you don't have. And I'm just ready. I didn't mean to get off subject.
No, I love it because little mini you is due when? Pretty soon, right?
April 13th.
Yeah, it's going to come 13th. Quick. I mean,
we just went to the doctor yesterday.
Yeah.
Could happen at any point. We're ready to go. In fact, we had a company come over and organize our house and everything for the baby. And they said that my wife is the most prepared woman she's ever met before a kid. So we're really excited. We went to the doctors yesterday, so he can come anytime. He's ready to go.
Are you excited you're having a boy to start off?
I'm very, very excited. Yeah. I didn't think it was in my cards for a boy just because of the guy I have been my whole life. I just thought for sure I was going to get a girl. I just thought it was in my cards. And, when we had our announcement that I was having a boy, I don't care either way. As long as the baby's healthy, I didn't give a shit. But when he hit a boy first, I was like, yes, I was very excited.
It's funny because I admittedly watched the show. I mean, I had watched the show actually with my ex at the point, kind of got me into it and stuff. And every time I saw you,
that's how it happens.
Yeah. Right. And every time you're on the screen, I'm like, I resonate. Like I take reality shows with a grain of salt. Obviously, like there's a camera time and then there's who you are behind the camera. But the on-screen Jax that I saw, I was like, I relate to this guy because that's kind of who I was too. I wasn't like a good person. And so I thought, same, I got blessed with two little girls. I have a 2-year-old and now a 2-week-old.
Oh my God.
So
two under two.
2 under 2, which is great though. And I'm happy I had a girl. Having a boy though would be cool. So hopefully, I don't know if I want another one, but we'll definitely see. But talk to me about the pressures, because I think 2020 was such a crazy year for a lot of people. In your case, was it a blessing in disguise? It kind of forced you to slow down a bit, or
yes?
Was it?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
As far as COVID goes, or as far as me not being part of the show anymore?
Just because COVID probably forced some slower down, and obviously the show too is a whole nother thing. But like, I would imagine a guy like you've been go since you moved to New York, Miami, then LA. But you're from Michigan, so you're used to a little bit of a slower. I mean, you grew up in a slower time,
right? But I left Michigan in 2001. I want to say I went to 2 semesters of college, and that was a waste of time. And I told my dad, I go, listen, I can't do this. I go, Dad, I love you. My dad was just like, I don't care what you do as long as you go to college. And I tried, and I sat there, and it was just like staring at a wall, and I just couldn't do school. It just wasn't for me. Mm-hmm. And, I sat down with my parents. I'm like, I just can't do this. I'm not the kind of guy that is a school guy. I'm a worker. I like to work.
Yeah.
And, and my dad was like, that's fine, but you're not going to live in this house and not pay, So, I said, listen, I got some jobs part-time and this and that. And then one thing, I'll speed it up. I got into modeling by accident. Moved to Chicago for the summer, just to taste the modeling world out. Again, I was 22 at the time, 21, 22. Just to taste it, to see if I was any good or whatever. And I was really good at it. I don't know how you'd be good at modeling, but I was working a lot. That's all there is to it. Clients liked me. I had some really good rapport with clients. And it worked out well. Then I went to Miami from there, came back home for a little bit, went back to New York. You kind of have to build up before you go to New York. You can't just go to New York City and be a model. You kind of have to, you kind of go play in the minors. Like the minors for modeling is Miami, Chicago, Milan, Paris, then New York. So I did all those places first to build my portfolio, because that's what's important. Clients want to see that you're working. In those days, things are different now. But in those days, you needed to show work. So you build up your clientele, you build up your rapport, you build up your rapport to clients. Then you go to New York with a nice portfolio and you work. I did that for a while, and it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. I'm constantly chasing money. I made good money, but you're always chasing it because agents owe you money. You're sleeping in, I slept in model apartments with like 5 other guys and bunk beds. And it was fun for a minute, but I was just like, this isn't going to last. So I went back home for a little bit because it wasn't exactly what I thought. And I was a little bit bigger of a guy at the time. And they wanted me to be smaller, getting into the fitness now. Yeah. I loved to work out in those days. I was shredded, but I was big. Like I have big genetics. So they wanted me to cut weight. So when I went over to Milan, funny story, they're like, we're going to send you to Milan. I'm like, oh man, I don't know. Those guys are so skinny over there. They're like girls. Like it's nothing. They just look like women over there. They're very feminine looking and their features are very feminine. I'm a guy's guy, man. I got muscles everywhere. I'm goofy. I'm clumsy. I don't, they're like, just go over there. Sure enough, first job on the day, I think I walked in, I was in Paris. I couldn't even get my leg in a pair of pants. Went to one company, same thing with another company, went home a week later, couldn't fit in any of the clothes. And I wasn't big by any means. I was skinny and lean, but I didn't look like the way they wanted. And I was like, listen, they're like, can you cut back on your diet? Can you just eat this and this? And I'm like, no, I go, this is not worth it. Just so you can take my picture. So I was depleting myself. I looked like a female. It wasn't comfortable for me. It wasn't comfortable. I was too skinny. I was like, I didn't like it. So I'm like, I'm quitting this. Went back home to Michigan for a little bit, got a call from a friend in California. Hey man, why don't you come out here and do some modeling? I go, no. I've done the modeling thing. It's not for me. It's just a little bit too feminine for me. I'm not into it. They're like, no, come out to California. They like the bigger guys. They like the guy, the surfer, the Old Navy, the Target. I go, okay. I mean, I just told my dad I was going to come home and go do this. And now you want me to come back to California? They're like, trust me, you'll make a lot of money out here. They love guys like you. So that was 2005, moved out to California. And been here ever since. So it worked out. I did it till about 10 years ago. I retired from the modeling 10 years ago. That's when the show started. Yeah. And but it was great for 10 years. It was a lot of fun. I should have started out here instead of going to New York. That was my biggest mistake. I should have never went to Miami, Paris, Milan, New York. I should have went straight to California. And that was my one mistake.
What was your aspiration as a kid growing up? Because I can't imagine Jax, you're like, hey, I want to be a model or maybe even an actor. Maybe you did. But I mean, being a hockey fan, I don't know, maybe you want to play professional hockey. But like, what did you want to do?
I didn't know, man. I was lost. All my friends in school all had plans. They all were going to college. They were all going into finance, banking, yada, yada. I was terrible at math. I was like the only one out of my friends. And I had a good core group of friends that didn't stay home and go to college, get married, have kids, and start the 9 to 5. I was the only one because I was just like, I can't do this. This is not me. And I could be following my friends' footsteps and go to school and do everything that I'm supposed to do, but I'll be miserable. I'll just be absolutely miserable. So like I said, I did 2 semesters at community college and all my friends were away. I was bored. I was miserable. I was just going through the motions, wasting my dad's money. So I was like, Dad, I'm not happy. I'll hand you the paper, but this is not for me. So he's like, you got to be happy, son, and do what you got to do. So I said, you know what? I got to move. I got to go do something maybe in the entertainment field. But I just felt like I was born to be out in the city, in the big cities, and do something with myself. I didn't know what at the time, but I just knew I wasn't supposed to be in Michigan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you definitely a 180. I think LA from Michigan would be a totally different world. Like for you, the pressures of, I talk about mental health quite a bit on the show because when you talk about like fitness, it's not just like being jacked up, being lean, but trying to like be mentally sound too. The pressures of Hollywood, like how much of a toll did it take on you trying to scratch and claw, get to where you need to be?
It was really, really hard. It's like I went from a big fish in a small pond to a very small fish in a big pond, because now you got to understand, everybody who comes to California, that's everybody in the 50 states. They're saying, you're beautiful, you should move to California. You're beautiful, you should move to California. So now you got all these pretty people, everybody in California. And now you have to get used to rejection, because 90% of this business, 98% of this business is rejection. So you're constantly getting rejected. Yes, I worked a lot, but I was rejected a lot more, so you're constantly, so for a good 10 years, I'm going to auditions and this, you're not good enough. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. I mean, constantly hearing that. And it wasn't anything, it was just a client saying, it wasn't right. But in your head, you're just constantly thinking, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. What can I do to change? Maybe I'll take this supplement. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll cheat the system and try this. Maybe I'll do this. And then you look at other people and you start comparing yourself to other people. And it's not, then that's where it gets bad, because you start comparing yourself to others and you just get lost. You get lost in LA. You get blinded by the light out here. Like I was blinded. I took all the bait, like you're not supposed to, did a lot of things I wasn't supposed to, did a lot of things I wasn't supposed to. And, you live and learn. But yeah, it's tough out here. It really is tough, because it's the rejection. And like I said, I can take rejection with the best of them, but I don't care how strong you are. After 10 years of someone saying no to you, it wears on you a little bit. It wears on you.
I can imagine too, with you and Brittany becoming parents, I think about my children. It's like, we live in such an Instagram world where, everybody takes like 20 different pictures for Instagram until they find the right one, because it's all about image. You live in the image capital of the world in Hollywood. What's the goal with baby? Like, I mean, trying to like raise him into a world that, to not jade him into thinking he's got to look a certain way or be a certain way, because I think that as a parent is one of the scariest things, because when they go to school, that stuff's out of your control. When they're at daycare or whatever it might be, you're not always there, but at home, it starts at home. So when you and Brittany are discussing, these things in terms of like self-image and beauty, how do you think that's going to go?
It's going to be tough. I got to be honest with you. I don't really have an answer. I'm fortunate that my friends are all having kids at the same time, so we can kind of all go through this together. We can kind of bounce ideas off each other. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. How old are you? 34, 35?
34. Yep, 34.
We kind of are in the same age where we grew up without that. And I tell you what, I'm so blessed to have a childhood without social media. I can't thank it enough. I sound like my dad right now. Oh, wait, we used to have it. But the childhood without social media was just wonderful. How did you find out where your friends were? Well, their bikes would be in the driveway. That's how you find out where your friends were. And it's just, how am I going to handle it now? I don't know. I'm going to leave majority of it up to my wife, and let her handle it, because I don't know what to do. And I feel like whatever I say is probably going to be wrong. So I don't know yet. I got a little while to think about it, but it's going to be tough because, well, one, we're going to be out of here. We'll be out of California by the time that gets like that. But, I just need to surround himself with good people, make sure he's a good person. I'm just adamant about raising him to be a young gentleman, yes, no, please, and thank you. Yes, sir. No, sir. A lot of that, a lot of, just being kind to people. I'm going to drill the kindness into him.
Yeah.
Like no other, because we are in a world of, you need to be kind to people, and, it's going to be just kind of one of those things where I'm just going to bounce things off other people, trial and error. Hopefully a lot less error, but, I'm new to it, because like I said, we are going through a shift change in our world right now, obviously. And we have to make sure we teach our kids the right way to do things. Right. Because our dads obviously were from a different generation. They kind of they went to work, we figured it out. I didn't really have any heart to hearts with my dad and stuff like that. It was just kind of, my dad was at work, and if I had an issue, you ask your mom, so.
Your dad was a disciplinary, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. He beat my ass when I came home from school, or, that was his job. So I don't really have anything to look off my parents, because this didn't exist, or it did exist. We just were unaware.
Yeah.
And I was very naive.
Whatever they did, we can't do in 2020.
Right.
Like the way our dads raised us, like not unfortunately, but like we couldn't do that. Although maybe at some point we should, because I think there'd be much better people because of it. You know what? I look back on it, and yeah, my dad beat my ass, but I deserved it. Yeah. So I'll tell you what, after he did it, I didn't do it again. Right. Once my dad if I got a good beating from my dad, I knew the next time I was doing something wrong, what was going to happen. Do I think that was a right way to do it? Probably not, but that's the way things were done then. And I learned. So for sure.
Strength isn't a slogan.
You want to win this year? Yes, no! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time!
It's not an image you find on billboards or the big screen. It's never been about any of that. It's all around you, in everyday moments, just waiting to be unleashed. Strength is the knowledge that inside you lies anything you've ever wanted to be. The confidence that your failures never define you, and the passion and purpose to drive beyond any limits placed upon you. When you call upon it, strength embraces you, challenges you, pulls you back up, no matter how many times you fall. It compels you to draw on courage, resilience, intensity, and hope, and expects your very best to help others find theirs. True strength demands you build more than muscle, not in pursuit of a personal best, but a better tomorrow for everyone.
Adding my product is going to help you get to where you want to be.
5%ers is 5% of the people in the world that are willing to do whatever it takes to reach their goals.
We're talking about business, success, education, willing to do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
For the last 2 decades, we have been the best kept secret of the supplement industry. We've kept our heads down and worked. We pioneered full label transparency and full therapeutic doses because we believe that truly hard work requires truly effective tools. 2 decades is a long time to commit to one pursuit, but when you act with purpose and become centered in yourself, eventually you realize that you were born and bred for this. The things you once thought impossible, you now do every day. We don't like the easy way, it just doesn't feel right. We'll take the long, hard road over a shortcut any day. It takes longer, sure, but in the end, you know you earned it. And with the right team behind you, pushing yourself further than you've ever been would be just another afternoon doing what you love most.
If you could use some help getting fired up and ready to crush your workouts, Pulse is for you. It is a 100% natural pre-workout supplement that gives you a surge of smooth energy and focus, bigger and better pumps, and more strength, endurance, and power. Pulse is also naturally sweetened and flavored and contains no artificial food dyes, fillers, or other unnecessary junk. So order now and get ready to feel focused, powerful, and tireless in your workouts.
I want to talk about your wife for a second here, Brittany, because I have a feeling being a female out in where you're at right now is extremely difficult. I mean, the image, self-image, right? And incorporating fitness into her world prior to being, 36 weeks or whatever she is pregnant right now, right? Like,
yeah, 35. Yeah.
Right. So what is the concept of fitness and stuff with you and Brittany, with being on a show, with having to walk out in public and see people all the time? I mean, was it just part of your life because you had to, or did you guys actually enjoy it?
As far as people picking at our fitness, were people picking at us a little bit?
You guys incorporating it into your life. You work out, obviously.
Oh,
Brittany,
yeah.
You have to keep up a self appearance, but was it more along the lines of necessity because it's expected, or do you guys actually authentically like working out?
Oh, we authentically love working out, but having a show kind of keeps you honest because, you kind of, like when the show was about to come back, say for instance, like if we were going to go back into season, a couple weeks prior, you'd hit the weights a little harder. Because when we are filming, there's not much time. Because, we film, every day, all day, and one day you could have off or you don't know when your day's off. So you had to hit it hard before we started filming because you didn't know when the next time, because your workouts were irregular during filming because you never knew when you were going to get a workout in. Yeah. I'm a very, I get up in the morning, I have my coffee, I walk my dogs, I go to the gym, I come home, I do my yard work. I like to have a plan. I'm very like this. When you're filming, there's none of that. And that drives me crazy because I need to know when I'm getting certain things done. I'm that person that needs to check things off, highlight it, get it done. I'm very organized. So being on a show, your life is unorganized because you're living in a reality show. They're filming you, what's going on in your real life. And towards the end, things were getting a little more, staged and a little bit more. The show wasn't as fun to me at the last 2 years. And I was just getting a little bit, if we're going into mental health, I'm sorry, I'll stop there. We'll stop there. Fitness does play a huge impact. What I have a problem with right now is people coming after like my wife, the way she looks and stuff like that. And it's not men, it's women on women, which is the weirdest thing to me. Like, you're a pig if you're a man and do something like that. Like you're a coward, but a woman attacking another woman whom you've never met in your life, just for the sake of saying something to make yourself feel better. I don't understand that. I don't understand people just going after people and picking on their weight or whatever. I mean, they're different than you. I don't know you. That's like me coming after you and saying something about you. Like, why? I don't understand that. It's an immaturity thing. It's usually an insecurity thing. People are hiding behind social media because something's going on in their lives. Right. That's what I think. But that's the problem I have with the people is the nitpicking at my wife. She's pregnant, for God's sakes. Leave her alone. I mean, what the hell do you want her to do? It's like, that bothers me.
I think to piggyback off of that, pregnant or not pregnant, you guys are in the public eye. I mean, it's stuff that you got to deal with, and the social media provides an avenue for people to be an absolute dickhead. I mean,
I know, but like, just because I'm in the public eye, that means that I have to deal with people being, it's one thing to say, oh, you're this, but people like hit below the belt. Yeah. And I have thick skin. Nothing you can say bothers me. I get heat all the time. I could give two shits. I laugh all the way to the bank, and I have been laughing all the way to the bank for many years. I'll go wipe my tears with my $100 bills. Okay, so I can care less. But my wife, she's a woman. She's feminine. She's emotional. So it's like when you attack, she just doesn't understand. Yeah. I don't understand either, but when she doesn't understand because she's so sweet, and she's always like, "Why do people come after me? I don't do anything wrong. I just sit here." Yeah. So that bothers me.
For sure. Well, and then put on, top on that she's pregnant, her hormones are going crazy. So I can.
Yeah, her hormones are all over the place, man. So it's like, and not only that, if she gets upset about it, what happens? We get upset because shit rolls downhill, and like I got to deal with it now because she's upset, which makes my life miserable. It's you know how it works.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's good to hear. It's kind of, I didn't realize you're going to move out of California. Actually, I think it's cool that,
we are soon. I don't know when.
Yeah.
I don't have a date. It could be this year. It could be in 2 years. I don't know, but we are for sure 100% getting out of here. It's just a matter of when the wife says it's okay. I would leave tomorrow. If we could go tomorrow, I'd be out of here tomorrow. But we have a little boy on the way, and she's got to nest a little bit, and she just wants to enjoy that. That's not a problem.
At 40 years of age, are you happy with where things are at right now?
Absolutely. Yeah. I couldn't be more happy than I am right now. I have, a beautiful wife. I have great friends. I'm very blessed with, I have a beautiful home. I got money in the bank. My health as of right now is great. I got, I'm just blessed, I'm very happy with the way things are.
Circle of friends. Most of your friends, were they on shows, production staff, and things of that nature in the industry? Or do you actually, I gotta imagine you probably have some authentic friends outside the space, maybe
yes.
Home yet, right?
Yeah. I got the same core group of buddies that I hung out before I got on the show. I do have some other friends, obviously, that I met during the show, because you get into a new circle, you become something, and other people, obviously, you get more friends. But yes, I do have the same core group of guys. They were pretty much all in my wedding. They all were all my best men at my wedding. And I've known them since I moved here when I was sleeping on couches. They've been me through thick and thin. But I do have some celebrity friends. I have a lot of celebrity friends, actually. And I love them all too. But I got friends from everywhere. I think people like me because you kind of get, with me, I don't really hold anything back. Yeah. like to lie. I'm not going to lie to you. And I'm 40 years old. I got a baby on the way. I don't have time or patience. And this kind of goes into the show a little bit why, it was good for me to go away from the show, I think. And to be honest, it's just not fair to the show anymore because the last 2 seasons, I was bowing out of scenes. The company would have to call me, Jax, why aren't you showing up? I just wasn't interested anymore. Like at 40 years old, arguing with a 25-year-old girl on why about a club. And I just didn't care. Like I wanted to be home. I wanted to be in bed by 9:30 and watching my television show, drinking my cup of coffee. And it wasn't fair. It's just not fair to everybody else who's putting the effort into the show to make a good show.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't there. And the show saw that. And, I don't, I'm not unhappy the way things ended. I had a great run. I gave it all. I don't know if you've watched since the beginning. I was a ruthless character, and I did everything I did to make the show entertaining. Was it stretched a little bit? Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if I wasn't entertaining, you don't have a job. So I had to do what I had to do. But when you hit a certain point in life and you're married, you got a child on the way, I'm just not doing those things anymore. I'm just not going to have those arguments. I'm not going to spiral out of control like they want me to. I'm just not going to do it. The only thing I miss, to be honest, about that show is the money. Other than that, I wish the best for them. I love them all to death. I can't wait to be a fan now, but there's no amount of money that could make me go back to that type of show. Now, do I want to keep doing other shows and stuff that are more family related or home improvement related or things like? Absolutely. I just, like everything else in life, it ran its course. And I think if people still saw me on a show like that today, they'd be like, Jax, you're 41 with a baby. Like you got to give it up. You know what I'm saying? It looks a little sad if I was still doing this kind of stuff. I think people would kind of be like, I think it would be so far-fetched and not believable. And I really prided on our show on being authentic. And the last 2 years, I'm not going to lie to people, it wasn't authentic. It was very, very, it was very pressured. It was very manipulated. It was directed in certain ways that I just wasn't comfortable with. I don't know about the other cast members. I'm just talking about me.
Right.
I just wasn't happy anymore. And like I said, I just felt bad for the producers and I felt bad for the network because they invested so much into me. And I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this to my wife. I can't be on a show like this anymore. It's just, I don't feel good about myself. And I don't know if you remember from the last season, I kind of went downhill. Like there was a lot of stuff going on and my mental health was out of control. I was having to throw a party at my house, which I didn't even want, like having people here. And I had a bouncy house it was a mess.
Yeah.
And that's when I was kind of like, at the end of last season, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to come back, or there's probably no way they're going to have me back because I was such a hard cast member to have on the show towards the end that it just didn't make sense for the show. It didn't make sense. Yeah. And like I said, there's no ill will towards the network or anything. I love them all. Like they gave me all this. I have, it was a great run. It just ran its course, basically.
Not to take anything away from like Tom, Pete and all those guys in the show, but
no. Those guys.
This is like how did it feel to be the biggest guy on set though? I mean, you were the guy that people looked at and be like, that guy works out. I mean, that's
yeah. I loved it. I was always sorry. I apologize if you helicopter. I'll wait.
You're good.
You're going to edit all this stuff out, right?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, I loved it. I know Tom Sandoval works out a little bit too, but they all work out a little differently than I do. I mean, I'm a guy's guy, man. I'm a Midwest guy. Those guys are a little bit, I don't want to say bougie when it comes to working out.
That's a great word.
They need the Equinox gym. They need the matching head to toe Nike ensemble. They need the phones to look I'm not that guy. I'm in Gold's Gym down the street. It's $20 a month. And there's like old Arnold Schwarzenegger looking guys in there. Yeah. That's where I like to go, and so there's a difference in that, but I enjoyed it. Like I said, I love it. I love working out. I love going to the gym. I love the smell. I just love everything about it.
For sure.
But although I do have a home gym now, since several of the gyms closed down, I had to build a home gym.
Yeah, same here. I mean, now I don't even go to a commercial gym anymore, which is nice. But what type of lifting do you quote unquote like body build lift? Do you if you're going to Gold, you're not doing CrossFit, I don't think. So like what?
No. I switched it up. I used to be into the big lifting, obviously, but at my age, like I said, I'm not going to be on the cover of Flex magazine or there's no reason for me to be that large. I'm not being paid for it, and it's just hard on your body, especially when you're my age and I'm starting a family. I want to be around for a long time. Well, I want to be around long enough to see my kids go to school. So now it's more of a maintaining kind of thing. Do I want to still look cut up and ripped? Yeah, I do. But I'm not taking the creatines anymore. I'm just eating healthier. I take a lot of protein. I'm a huge into cardio. Like I have a Peloton.
Yep.
So my situation is I'll go in, I'll lift for about an hour, and then I'll do a boot camp on my Peloton, and then I'll call it a day. But yeah, I still got all my old school weights. I got built a cool gym, and yeah, but it's just not lifting as heavy as I used to, just because like there's really no reason unless you're endorsed, like fully endorsed by like Flex magazine and whatever, with all those things. There's really no reason to do that, you know, unless it's your hobby, unless you enjoy it, you know. But there's just a lot of, you know, the more I read on it, I've done more research on it lately. Just how hard it is on your heart, your lung, you know, your body. It's a lot of work, you know. And then when you stop doing it, it all turns to fat. So it's kind of like I had to gradually, you know, come down because I was a lot bigger. And then I was like, well, if I just stop doing this, this is all going to turn to fat. So I just kind of cut my lifting and went into cardio, and kind of now I got into a good body size that I like. Now I don't know what you even call my kind of lifting anymore. Like you just lift. I'm not as intense as I used to be.
You doing like a full body workout? You doing like push pull legs type workout? Or you doing?
I do like a different body part every day.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm working out 5 days a week. I'll do chest, arms, legs, but I'm not getting into heavy as I used to. Yeah. It's more of a maintain now.
Right. Well, the nice thing is working with Muscle Tech, they're not coming to you and saying, hey, we want you to look like Ronnie Coleman. They want you to look like Jax Taylor. You know, they want you to be you because you're that crossover personality that they want, right? Like you look good, you're in the public eye. Same with like Kevin Hart just signed with another company too. It's like, I think that's a cool thing that companies are doing in this world, is working with guys like you, guys like Henry, because it brings a new audience to somebody like Muscle Tech. So what do you in terms of like,
still in shape. I still love working out. I just don't want to look like a gorilla. Like when I was 25, I wanted to look like a gorilla. That was my goal. I didn't care how I got there. That's what I wanted. Now at 40 with a child, I got to take care of my body a little more because, well, we're getting older. I choose to look like this, and it's just working out for me. I feel a lot better. I tell you what, I feel a lot better working out, going through this kind of process rather than bulking up. You know, I feel better with myself. I sleep better at night. I enjoy this type of working out. There's not much stress. I'm not pressured to look a certain way anymore. I do it. My wife loves the way I look. That's another thing too. You know, I like, do you want me to look like this or do like this? Or like, she's like, I just love the way you are. Just don't get too big and muscly. Just, you know, stay lean and work out and do your thing. So you want to look good for your wife. Yeah, I'm married, but you still want to look good for your significant other.
Yeah.
So yeah. And she's got a trainer planned for after she has the baby, and then she has some time off. Her best friend's a personal trainer out here, so she's excited to get back in the gym as well.
You should tell her to film the process, because that could go.
She is.
Good content for people.
Sure. She's got some endorsement deals lined up already with, I think, South. Yeah, they're all knocking on the door. She's so busy with social media and stuff like that she just needs a little bit of time right now, because it's a little overwhelming because she has so much work and she's waddling around the house. Yeah. Like you know how it is.
She has penguin walk now. Yeah.
Oh yeah. She it's heavy breathing, about 10 steps. Gotta take a break. I got a big boy. I mean, he's already almost 6.5 pounds. I think he's 6.5 pounds. He's big. So
they can grow like a pound a week towards the end. So that means
yeah. And I'm like, my friends all gave birth and their kids were all under our weight already. So I was like, geez, he's going to be a big boy. But I was a big boy. So that's
poor Brittany. Poor Brittany.
Yeah, I know. She's like, please don't get any bigger. Please don't get any bigger.
What out of the Muscle Tech line and stuff, what is one of your favorite things of theirs that you do take?
Well, I take the chocolate protein every day. Yeah. And my newest thing is putting it in coffee. Because I was doing the protein shake and the coffee every day. And I was like doing much. And my stomach was getting like a little messed up. So I'm like, I'm going to put these two together. I'm going to try this out. So, I've been doing the coffee with the protein shake, and it's delicious, killing two birds with one stone. Sometimes, and I'm a big fan of putting protein in my oatmeal. Yeah. I like to do that. I always do that in the morning. I'll have I'll put some protein in the oatmeal, have a protein shake and some eggs. That's kind of my go-to thing, way to do things right now. I tried the shatter. Pre-workouts are rough for me, but shatter is great because I take half of the amount it says. Mm-hmm. You got to be really careful with that stuff because everybody's body is different and how it reacts. So I take half, and I tell you what, that is the perfect amount for me. We all need a little bit of a jump start in our day. I'll go back and forth between shatter and a cup of coffee. But yeah, it works good. You just got to be very careful with those pre-workouts. I always say that to a lot of guys who ask me about pre-workouts, because man, there's times where you'll be sweating cold. You'll want to be like, oh, it's the worst. And then trying to get it out of your system when you take too much, it's the worst. It's the worst.
Yeah. I mean, if you're drinking like a cup of coffee a day too, your tolerance to caffeine, maybe your tolerance to caffeine isn't super high either. So, but yeah, Shatter is actually one of their newer products that came out in the last year and a half, 2 years that I'm actually a big fan of too. So it's
yeah. And like I said, like when people say, oh, my son wants to try this or whatever, my suggestion is start off half of what they suggest. And then you can always gradually move up. But with pre-workouts, I just, they're relatively all the same as far as like, if you take too much, you're going to, you'll freak out. Right. So I always say start off small, and it's worked out great for me. It doesn't do anything. I'm energized all day. I love it, but I don't do it every day. Like I said, I'll switch it around. I'll do maybe 3 times a week.
Yep. For sure. I like now, obviously your process or your mindset behind working out has shifted. It's not to maybe look a certain way, but obviously to increase longevity with baby boy coming. What is the one thing that you are looking forward to the most about being a father?
God, I have so many things. I can't even knock it down to one. I have so much to hand down to him. I have so much to teach him. I have so much. First, I just can't wait to see him. I don't know. I just teaching him like sports and just teaching him about life. And, I'm just so excited to be how my father was. My father passed away 3 years ago, but I had the best childhood of my life. I never went without. My dad was always there. And, I didn't realize how hard my dad had to work until I was older to give us what we had, because my sister and I just never knew. We just assumed money grew on trees in the backyard. We didn't know. I didn't know my dad worked midnights some places. I didn't know my mom was doing this to make some extra money for Christmas. I didn't know until I got older. And I was like, oh, wow, we didn't know that. So I'm just going to work my ass off just so, I can give everything to my son, but also teach him how to work for things as well. I'm not going to just hand him everything, although my wife thinks I'm going to do that. She's going to do that, but we're going to teach him, teach him what's right, what's wrong, how to work for things, how to save. I'm excited to teach him all that stuff. Yeah. I really am, just to be a guide, to be like, okay, you have to look up to me. I got to teach you the right way. I'm responsible for the way you are, so the way you grow up. So I'm excited about that. I don't know. I never thought I would be this excited to be a dad. I didn't even think I was going to be a dad in life. I really didn't think it was in my cards. In my 20s, the last thing I wanted was a girlfriend and a child. I don't know if you can relate, but I was too busy working out, partying, and finding women. That's all I cared about. Yep. That's it. And, you meet the right girl and, everything changes. And then all of a sudden you got kids, and then you got a home, and then you get married. And, and I tell you what, it's been amazing. It's been amazing. I'm very, very blessed. I like to think that my dad has something to do with that upstairs, but yeah. I love it. I love every minute of it so far. And every minute of her being pregnant, I've loved. It been fun.
It sounds so cliche, but you're right. I mean, it literally is. Like, you meet that one person, everything kind of just changes for her.
Everything changed. She's my best friend. I bounce things off of her. I'd rather hang out with her than any of my friends. I got a good one, and when you find a good one, you lock it down. And, I wasn't sure I was going to be a good dad. I knew from the start meeting my wife, she was going to be a great mother. She's raised kids all her life. She's raised all her nephews. They're all boys. She's a professional. She was born to be a mother. And I know it'll happen for me when my son is here. It'll happen. But yeah, we're just really, really excited. We're just really pumped up. Not too nervous at all. We're so prepared. We're probably over prepared, if that makes any sense. We're ready to go. If he came right now, we're ready. Yeah. We're just pumped. We're pumped.
What, I know you said you're not nervous about anything, but there's gotta be something that scares the shit out of you a little bit.
Driving home from the hospital. I'm going to be absolutely petrified. Probably holding him. I'm not going to hold him standing up. I'm going to make sure that I'm sitting down on a couch with lots of pillows. Because people keep asking me, are you excited? I'm like, yeah, I'm just petrified to hold him for the first time. I'm petrified to drive home from the hospital for the first time. Stuff like that right now.
It's great because about 2 weeks in, you'll find yourself just like talking to friends and you'll be swaying back and forth because you think you have a baby, trying to get them to stop crying. So I'm excited for you, dude. I think in the world of pro wrestling, you have an alias, you have a name, right? Like Jax Taylor is not your real name, right? So like, tell me how it came about. I'm always interested in like, I can understand Jax. Like I get that based on your real first name, but like, how did you architect that name? Because it's cool. It's catchy.
That name started when I was modeling. I was 20 years old when we started. So I went to an agency in Miami, and my real name is Jason Couchy.
Yeah.
Jax Taylor. Taylor's my mom's maiden name. So we took
very
that.
cool.
We just changed the S to an X and made it cool because, like I said, there was a few Jasons already, and with the agency I was with, and they just wanted me to stand out. Now it's kind of the same thing with Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise. Those aren't their names. Johnny Depp. Those aren't their names. They moved to Hollywood and they said, we're going to change your name to that because it sounds cool and agents will like that. That's the same thing I did. Went to Miami. They're like, your new name is this because it stands out. It's a little bit more fun than just Jason this. No one will pronounce my last name. So Jax Taylor just seems like action star. That's your new name. And that's the truth. That's the truth. It was made up from an agent of mine in 2001 or something like that in Miami. And it just stuck. It just stuck.
Is baby boy going to look up to you and be like, Dad, who's Jax Taylor?
Yeah, probably. And thanks to the internet, he's going to know all about that.
He's gonna know all
my
about you,
son is going to have my legal name though. He's going to have my legal name. And yeah, I'm going to have to explain all that one day. And thanks to the internet, I'm never, ever going to go away.
No.
He's going to ask a lot of questions one day and I'm going to have a lot of answers. I'm not ready for that, but
I mean, you got some time, you got a little time to figure out what you're going to say there. And then you can have Brittany, or just say, go talk to your mom. Go talk to
Dad.
your mom.
Why did you do this? Dad, have you ever tried this? Dad, did you ever do this? And that's going to be conversations that, I'm going to have one day, and I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to have them and how to tread lightly. I'm definitely not going to be one of those parents that just says, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
I'm going to explain situations. Like in my household, we were a very open household. If you drank, you told your parents. If something happened, you told them. There was no trouble if you were honest in our household. And I feel like today with parenting, too many parents are no, 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 right off the bat. And that kind of drives your kid away to rebel. Like, exactly. I'm not going to do that. I know there's alcohol, there's drugs. I know there's bad people in the world. I pretty much wrote the book on all that shit. There's nothing really that would ever surprise me anymore. So, teaching my son just, the right way to do things, the wrong way to do things. If he wants to try something, if he comes up to me and say, Dad, I want to try cigarettes, fine. I'll buy you your first pack of cigarettes. You can try them right in front of me. That's how my mom did it. If you're going to drink, I want to know, just let me know. Can I be around? I want to know. I just want to know. I want to be there. I need to help. Am I don't know if those ways are even going to work anymore. I'm still kind of scared about it. How do you think about those kind of rules? Like, what do you think about, let me see, disciplining your child? For instance, this is a good topic.
Yeah,
actually.
no, it is. And I'm kind of like, the world scares the shit out of me. The kids have cell phones at 12. I didn't get my first cell phone until 16. I'd argue that might even be too early,
Yeah.
So I want my daughters to discover the world for themselves and make their own decisions, but understand like there will be consequences to every action you make. Right.
Right.
But the same thing with drinking. I grew up, my mom said, hey, as long as there's a parent home, things of that nature, it's going to happen. And I think if in my standpoint, if I tell them no, I restrict them, they're going to do exactly what you said. They're going to rebel or find a way to make it happen anyway. My wife, for instance, her parents would tell her no and not have real conversations with her. So she rebelled, and she was a pretty crazy fucking high school and college girl. So, I mean, it's just,
And then it works against you. Instead of saying no, well, how about explaining the reason why I'm saying no? Well, this is the reason why. This is what this does. This is what, if you do this, this is what's going to happen.
Right.
And this is the final outcome. Now, this is your choice at the end of the day, but if you get in trouble, these are the consequences. You let them know ahead of time, say, this is what you're walking into, just so you know. I'm not saying no because I just love to say no. Yeah. I'm saying no because I went through this before. I know what's going to happen. And, I'm a little older than you. So if you want to make those choices, there's going to be consequences.
I feel like I was gonna say, it's crazy too. There's some attributes that go into it, whether you have a daughter or a son. Because I feel like me and you with a boy would be a little bit more lenient, which isn't fair. But we'd be like, he's a guy, he'll figure it out. Versus my daughters, I'm like, I know how men are, so like, I know how I was. So you look at it a little bit differently. Fair or not, that's I think something that goes into it.
God help me if I have a daughter, because I swear, there's nothing I haven't done. I can literally write a book on everything a guy is thinking before so he shows up to my house. I already know what's going on. I already know where his head is. Unfortunately, we were guys, and it's going to be rough for my daughter, just like it's probably going to be rough for your daughters.
It's not going to be easy after that.
It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Watching them go on dates for the first time, watching them ask questions about certain things for the first time, trying to answer sex questions and why Why are they, even just today in this cancel culture, and like, why aren't they allowed to have this anymore? Now this is okay. Like, we have to really tread lightly on these topics, but we have to understand, we have to teach them, I don't know, the right way to do things, and just to treat people fairly. I think that's the most important thing, is just treat everybody fairly. That's the most important.
You make a good point, not to go on anything about like the cancel culture and like the snowflake mentality, like having a boy, right? Like you want him to grow up to be tough at the same time and I'm the same way. It's like, man, when I fell down as a kid, I got up, I brushed the dirt off, I went on with my day. And you see some parents who just like coddle their kids and pick them up. And it's like, God dang it. I mean, that's why we have so many soft people, I think, now.
Exactly.
And it's like, man, we can't do that, because you start wanting to cancel Mr. Potato Head. Now we got an issue. Like, come on, guys. Like, let's calm down for a second here.
I know. I don't agree with. It's really tough, because the way I grew up, obviously the way you and I grew up were different. My dad, if the kid pissed me off, my dad would be like, go fight him. Like, like I said, go knock him out, teach him a lesson. That's how we grew up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, we're teaching him a different way, that fighting and violence obviously is not the way to go.
Correct.
But that's just the way my dad did things. There's a box, go play with it. Like, I mean, we're all, we're trying new things. Like I said, I'm so fortunate that my friends are all having kids too. And I can bounce things off them, because like I said, I'm a guy's guy. My buddies that are having kids too, they're a little, I don't know what to say. What's the best way to put this? They understand things a little bit better than I do. And I used to be so stuck in my ways. I don't know if you were or not, especially being from the Midwest. We're stuck in our ways. So we'll see.
Just put a camera in the house, Jackson. Just film the entire parenting process, because I'm sure.
You know what?
Netflix
we do have cameras. I'm probably just going to hit play, like you said, and just kind of wing it, just see what happens.
For sure. And then you sell the footage, and there you go. That's your next payday. You call it good.
Yeah. Well, we got some projects in the works. We're trying to figure out what we're going to do. Obviously we are filming pretty much everything we do right now, because we kind of just trying to figure out what network we want to go to, or what type of show we want to do. But like I said, we just kind of want to have the baby, get that out of the way, enjoy that process. I tell you what, it's a blessing in disguise not to be filming right now, because I get to enjoy the process with not having them tell me what to do. The camera people, the production, I get to actually enjoy having a baby without all them around,
For sure.
So I'm excited about that. Yeah. And then we'll decide what we're going to do from there.
For sure. I'd say only recommendation from my standpoint is still take time for yourself. Go to the gym.
Absolutely.
Even if you're tired, go get that hour workout in, because you'll feel completely rejuvenated afterwards. And like for Brittany, make sure she does something nice for herself, like once a day, Starbucks, whatever. I mean, it sounds dumb, but it goes a long way with these.
Oh yeah. I make sure she does this for herself all the time, because she needs her time. She needs her time. Especially right now, we're about 2-3 weeks away, of freedom. So we got to get as much sleep in as we can, and take as much time for ourselves as we can, because it's going to be all over here in a couple weeks.
Love it. Well, I'm stoked for you guys. I think it's cool. Just like, again, from afar in Minnesota, watching this show on Bravo and seeing this young Jax grow up. And now, I mean, you and I, granted, we're a little age apart, not too much, but we're basically kind of the same mindset.
Right.
What's going on. So it's cool, because the guy I related to on this reality show 5-6 years ago is in the same shoes as I am now. And it looks like you're happy. Authentic.
I'm very happy. Nice. You know what? I can't stress enough how happy I am. And I don't get me wrong. I had a great time. On that show. We had a lot of fun, but like I said, if I was still doing and living that kind of lifestyle, I'd be dead and I'd be miserable. And it's not who I am. So everything's good. We're happy. We're just excited to go to the next chapter of our lives, try something else, try something new. And hopefully just everybody sticks around for the ride.
For sure. Love it, dude. Jax Taylor, reality TV show star, Hollywood star, about to be a father, coming on and just discussing life behind the scenes, behind the lens, because you don't necessarily see, Jax you don't know or see Jax unless you follow him on Instagram or follow Brittany on Instagram. You don't really see who he is as a person. If you watch the show and fan of the show, you just see the stuff that they portray on television, which, let's just make one thing perfectly clear. As a TV producer, as a director, your job is to make money. Your job is to increase viewership. To do that, you create controversy. Controversy creates cash, and Jax was the guy that they instilled in that villain/controversial role. If you like what you heard here on the podcast, hit that subscribe button. We are on iTunes, Spotify. Watch it via YouTube. Fitnessinformant.com is our website. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. Make sure you check out our food brand, Fit Butters, fitbutters.com. They are also on TikTok, otherwise at Fit Butters, on all social media channels. Appreciate everybody tuning in and watching it. I think that you will enjoy this. It's a little bit different from us here at FI, at the Iron Union Podcast. But if you like to hear the rest of the algorithm,